Monica and Jen, we have an official Republican presidential ticket now. Trump, Vance, 2024. We watched here a few minutes ago when first the president was nominated as the standard bearer for this party, and then by acclamation, as he was standing on the convention floor here behind me, J.D. Vance became the vice presidential pick for the GOP. Now, if elected, he is the youngest VP in 160 years if they win in November. He's just 39 years old. He's a political newcomer. In fact, Vance would be the first millennial vice president you would ever have. In terms of his pedigree, he's a former Marine, bestseller. A lot of people know his New York Times bestselling book, Hillbilly Elegy, describing his journey growing up in poverty, describing what many people now describe as the forgotten man or woman in America. He's also, in more recent years, been a venture capitalist and then tried his hand at politics, getting elected to the U.S. Senate from Ohio in 2022. He's also had some criticism of his running mate, former President Donald Trump. He described him as, quote, America's Hitler at one time. Those were his words back in 2016. He was harshly critical of former President Trump. He has since changed his tune as he was running for Senate. He's also kind of evolved in terms of some other aspects of Trumpism as well and the Trump agenda. And many view this pick as really what could be the continuation of the Trump agenda, the American First agenda, past just Donald Trump. If they win in November, they could see J.D. Vance taking on the mantle of that push. They do agree on a lot of those ideals, so we will see what happens with this ticket, but it is now official. Now, you heard Corey Lewandowski there making New Hampshire's delegation announcement, all 22 delegates, that is, from New Hampshire, going for former President Trump. That includes the 9 delegates who were originally pledged to Nikki Haley. She said last week the delegates that were pledged to her could do whatever they choose, and at the end of the day, all 9 chose to go for former President Trump. NHGOP Chair Chris Sager saying that shows the unity of the party. He also says on this stage this week, we're going to see a changed man, a changed Donald Trump in light of what happened at Saturday's assassination attempt. Listen to this.
You know, when you get that close to death, sometimes it changes your outlook. And I've seen so far, just in the few messages from his campaign, that it does look like a more moderate tone, a more welcoming, unifying kind of message. And so I'm hoping that that continues.
And so that's what we're hearing here on the ground in terms of what to expect from Donald Trump in the days ahead. His Truth Social posts showing it may not be completely no political fights, not taking or not just leaving on the political gloves, as it were. So we will see what happens on the campaign trail. And speaking of the campaign trail, New Hampshire Chair Chris Sager also tells us the Trump campaign now certainly views New Hampshire as a battleground state. They're going to pour resources into it, and they think they could win it. Be the first time a GOP candidate at a presidential level has won New Hampshire in more than 20 years. Jen and Marissa. I'm sorry, Jen and Monica.
Yep, and Steve, tell us a bit more about security here. Of course, always incredibly tight for these national conventions, but in the wake of Saturday and the shooting in Pennsylvania, what are you seeing that seems different this year?
Just the sheer number of both officers here on the ground, Secret Service agents, and then the size of the perimeter. They've actually expanded out where the perimeter lines are in terms of the surrounding area from the Fiserv Arena. That's here where the RNC is. There's a lot of events taking place nearby. And there are gates up. You have to drive through checkpoints that have all sorts of barriers, get your car swept for bombs and other potential dangerous devices. In fact, the line to get your car swept is 90 minutes before you then go through metal detectors. So you can see it on the ground. There has certainly been a reinforcement, a hardening of security here. The Secret Service says this was a plan 18 months in the process. They say Milwaukee is actually one of the safest places they believe anywhere on the planet right now. Monica and Jen.
Steve Bottari live at the RNC. Thanks, Steve.